I reckon the two, like the man and his daughter, were probably the last two survivors. So maybe I should reload my second slot and focus on getting them safe, maybe, to get that achievement. Or maybe you have to complete the game to do that, I don't know. Alright. Boomstick, yay! It ain't gonna mean shit. So military arrival. Still got an hour, but I don't think it's gonna be enough time because of the accelerated. But, yeah. Alright, let's get out of here.
Thanks for your assistance.
Totally awesome.
It's amazing that, like, I don't think getting out is too difficult. Oh fuck, I should have really fucking saved. Just in case. I don't think it's that hard. I think you just follow it and don't crash. That bike is messed up. It's not great. I know Chuck can fix shit, but
Hang on tight, honey.
it looks really still kind of beat up with like. I guess that's fair to him.
Raise your hands and surrender yourselves immediately for screening. We will be forced to shoot if you do not comply.
Screening, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Alright, let's go. Let's get out of here. So this DLC is probably about roughly about an hour and a half. We've reached an hour and a half of my recording session right now, but obviously I had about the first 30 minutes. Or less, obviously. Because of a bit of setup time we had before we actually started. I don't really remember what to do. I've got a little amount of time. Run. I'm stuck. Bike has very poor traction. Soldier bonus. There we go, we should be good. Yeah! We ride to Fortune City. There you go, guys. We done it. I was a bit scared there for a minute. Because it was very poor traction, dude. There's his truck. We did it. We found his truck there. That's convenient. Yeah, it was a living guy and then he probably died. It's just a shame none of this will carry over to Deadrising Remastered, 2 Remastered, I don't think. So I'm going to be like 2 levels short. At least from what I can gather. We'll have to wait and see. If they didn't implement that, they're really stupid. Because, you know, they haven't even put the game on backwards cap yet. I would gladly play the backwards compatibility version if it meant, like, lesser graphics, if it meant my stuff would carry over. So if they don't implement that for the remastered version, it's gonna suck, but I don't think they will. I mean, if they don't, it's not that big of a deal. Not really. Yeah, it's not a huge deal, you know, I only gathered like 2 levels. You can only get 5, but still. Like I said, it's like the only improvement really is in the graphics and textures a little bit. So if I had to play the backwards compatibility version, I'd take it.
Honey, listen to me. We made it this far. I will not stop until you're safe.
Look at the weird clipping on her
Nothing is more
bag.
important than that. You understand? Let's get going.
All right. All right. And that is it for the first chapter of Deadrising 2, ladies and gentlemen. And I did much better than I did in my original run. Again, it's like I think my experience with Deadrising 1 last year was definitely an advantage, because I seem to be doing a lot better in my playthroughs, which is a great thing. It's just a shame that you couldn't play co-op on this game, but I guess at the end of the day, probably co-op was something they only thought of maybe last minute before Deadrising 2 came out, because, you know, if they probably weren't even going to put it in the first place, because obviously it wasn't in this beginning chapter, so it was obviously something they put in very late in Decision, maybe. But it's no big deal. Like I said, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because if it doesn't work, carrying over this data into Deadrising 2's remastered version, then you know, either way it doesn't matter, because, you know, we wouldn't have been able to carry over and start there anyway, so, you know, it's not a big deal. But it does make me wonder why those two games were never backwards compatible, and that's because it's Capcom and they wanted to make more money re-releasing like a better version, which actually isn't better. It's not. It's better graphically, and that's about it. Like I said, Deadrising 1, it only improved the graphics, it didn't improve the fucking gameplay or anything at all like that. So, you know. I don't really know who Peter Fleming is. I know he played Chuck Green, but that's about it. I've only just like realize that now. But yeah, getting that assault rifle against the mechanic was a godsend. It tears him up. But obviously, I don't know when you'll see this, because today is actually July 28th, and Deadrising just started a few days ago, so obviously you won't see this for a while. But I may have the game by then, I may not. It really just depends. But yeah. I'm not entirely sure if it will carry over to the remastered version, but if it does, what I'll do is I'll do it with Lady Time Lord, and we'll get her a bit leveled up too, if it does work. But yeah, I think my previous experience with the Deadrising series is definitely starting to sway me a little bit. I'm starting to get a lot better at it than I did when I played Deadrising 1 10 years ago, man. I put down the game, like I said. I hated the game. I hated the controls. But to be fair, I think Deadrising 2 actually does feel a lot better control-wise. Like, escorting is 20 times easier than it was in the first game. 20 times easier. You know, I think that the aiming was left trigger and the fire was right trigger, so they changed that to make it more of a shooting traditional controls, as it were. So yeah, it looks like Deadrising 2 improved over so much over the first game, which is a good thing. And then Deadrising 2 was to really, you know, kind of get that on board as such. And that was all we had, and that's all she wrote. There was no like after credit sequence. Jump kick. Oh, you get the jump kick as a skill. Well, you did in Deadrising 2, I guess. Save progress, yes. And we'll keep the second save back for trying to save survivors, and if I have to restart it, I will. But yeah, that should all carry over. I think we got level 4, so we're actually 1 level short. So if it doesn't carry over, then I am going to be a bit annoyed, because, you know, I did all this, got to level 4 or 5, almost 5, and then just got robbed by the fact that it doesn't help in the remastered version how that works. But whether it does or not, it doesn't matter. Myself and Lady Tomlord will be co-oping that now, because we didn't get to co-op in this, which was a shame. But we will be definitely co-oping Deadrising 2. Keep in mind that we have not played Deadrising 2. We only played maybe the first couple hours when it originally came out, or maybe a bit after that. But we never really played past that. We never beat it, so that's a definite for sure. We never beat it. So we don't really know what to do and where to go. So we may use playthroughs here or there if we get only if we get really stuck. Only if we get really stuck will we resort to that. But you know, like I said, this already Deadrising 2 just from this demo. It's not a demo, but you know, over this little portion, it already feels so much better than Deadrising 1 ever did. And I think that's kudos to Capcom for improving a lot of what didn't really work in the first game so much. But yeah, it really seemed to work really well here. Like, escorting is so much easier, the aiming is easy, it's better in every way. Deadrising 2 is better in every way. And that can only be a good thing for when we eventually get round to starting the playthrough. And of course, I hope it's co-op, I hope it is. If it's not, I'm going to be really pissed. But it should be. I think everything from Deadrising 2 just carries over, so we should be fine. Hopefully. But from all intents and purposes, Deadrising 2 is co-op. So we will be doing it co-op at that point. If not, then that's really sucky, but I'm assuming it is, because when Darkside Phil played it when it originally came out, he teamed up with John Rambo, and they did co-op together. So that says to me that it's a part of the game, I hope. But of course we're playing the remastered version, so they might have stupidly took it out. But we'll have to wait and see. And then we'll be obviously after the game, after we complete the game, probably no matter what ending we get anyway, we might try for ending A afterwards. We might just go for whatever ending we get, and then maybe restart it, just play it in our own time, up towards ending A, and then restart. Well, Lady Tomlord can do it in her own time anyway. You know, she's not recording it. But obviously what I'll do is, if we have to restart the game, which I don't think we'll have to do, we'll be alright. But even if we have to, what I'll do is I'll just, you know, stop. We'll just play through in our own time, at our own pace, get back to where we were, and then restart the play. I'll restart the play from there. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky, because we haven't beat the game yet, or have beat the game at all, but we should be alright. And like I said, we can always resort to a playthrough if we have to, but only in extreme cases would we do that. And Deadrising 2, like I said, it looks a lot more polished in controls and AI. The enemy AI is still really random, but the ally AI, from what I've just seen and what I've just played, is much better. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the full game, and it will be the remastered version of the full game. So hopefully all features are intact. And then at the end of the game, when we get the, I think it's the A ending or the S ending, I'm not sure. But whichever ending that, I think it is either A or S, so either way, we will then move on to Case West, do that, and then we'll move on to Deadrising 3, which again, we have never played. And then Deadrising 4, eventually, again, we've never played. Yeah, you're noticing the theme here. Alright guys, I'm going to start talking before I bore you guys to death. Thank you for witnessing here. It's sorry that it wasn't co-op. I misjudged it. It's my fault. And fingers crossed, maybe, that our level carries over into the remastered version of Deadrising 2, despite not being able to really play that. If not, it's no big deal. We'll deal with it. Alright everyone, so that is it for Case 0 and the end of the Deadrising playthrough for now. We'll be back with the full release on the remastered version. We co-op with Lady Tomlord, we hope. Peace out, I'll see you then.